button. Go. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can, Cheri.
We are recording.
Yep, and welcome to our webinar for today on how to segment your list to get better results from your emails. My name is John Keplinger, and myself and Cheri Bales, who will be doing our presenting, are both members of SCORE of Southwest Michigan. For those that don't know, SCORE is a national organization that provides free counseling to small businesses to help them either get started up or to navigate through the various challenges that they have as a small business owner. We are also a member of the Small Business Association, and that's where a good piece of our funding comes from. Today, we're going to be recording this presentation, and you will be receiving an email in the next day or so with a link to the actual presentation itself. So if there's something that you do miss, you'll have a chance to go back through it again. We have muted all of your microphones for the duration. However, we will be monitoring both the chat line and the Q&A line to take questions from you. And that's where I'm going to be kind of monitoring that. We will take a pause probably about 25 minutes into the presentation to field some of those questions, as well as the ones that you've already submitted. Cheri has a copy of those, and she's done a great job incorporating them into her presentation. So from time to time, I also will be posting some links into the chat box. So you can look forward to seeing those. And without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Cheri and let her take it the rest of the way.
Hey, John, thanks. Everybody give us a little thumbs up if you can hear me okay. I think you know the name of today's topic, and I'm so glad to see many of you back here for a second, third, fourth, I don't know, is this week 13 or 12 or 13 or 14? I'm not sure, but we're just going to keep going until someone yells stop, and I'm having a great time. So today we're going to talk about how to segment your email marketing list and why it's even necessary. And trust me, I've worked with clients who have one long 300-person list, and it's not even sortable by first and last name. We can help fix that. There are ways to get through that. So don't panic if you have an unmanageable list. But when you're sending a targeted, relevant, you're going to hear relevant a lot. That simply means it's important to me, and I give a crap about what you're sending. So it's not something I have zero interest in receiving. It's targeted to me, and it's relevant to me. So 21% of people unsubscribe because emails they get aren't relevant. So think about that. When you've gone online and made a purchase, or to a store and made a purchase, and you're done with that encounter, you don't need that company any longer, but you get emails from them. Many of us go to unsubscribe, and we unsubscribe from them, and that's perfectly okay. Do not feel offended if someone unsubscribes. You know, it may simply mean that they don't need your product or service at this time. We'll talk about how to handle that. 52% of people are likely to switch brands if communications aren't personalized. Write this down. When you are making an email database for any CRM, any use, any email database, any upload, Constant Contact, MailChimp, I don't care what it is, Salesforce, please, please, please put first name in one column, last name in the next column, and from there on out, you can pretty much put in anything you want, and Constant Contact will let you load up any kind of segmentation, which we're going to talk about. But here's why. You can't personalize an email to Dear Score. We do it all the time. And when each of you filled out your reservations for this workshop today, you know, let's say that you got first name in reverse with last name, and it, you know, be Dear Bales. So that's really, really important. Write down, you want last name, you want first name, last name, email, and from there on out, anything you can get is an added benefit. We'll talk about that in a minute. So seriously, personalized emails have a 6-time higher transaction rate. Transaction rate is what you're looking for. That's a return on your investment, meaning that they have taken some action. Click to read, click to order, click to buy, click to learn more. And people are 5 to 25. You are going to spend 5 to 25 times more on a marketing budget to gain new customers than you are on retargeting to your existing customers. And that's been an old adage of business. It's always easier to get customers who already know you, and that's where you want to spend your time. You know, now we have a fancy word for it, and we call it remarketing, meaning, oh, you bought something from me, I'm going to market to you for the rest of my life until you yell stop or unsubscribe. On today's agenda, some basic strategies for segmenting your list. It sounds a little overwhelming, but it's really not. It's basically like a Dewey Decimal System for your email addresses. You know, if you have no problem setting up a desktop folder, which then has a folder inside of it for resources and a folder for contacts and a folder for images for your business. It's the same thing as desktop folders. You're just doing it in Constant Contact, and you're doing it with emails. So we're going to talk about how we can get people to self-segment. And when you all signed up for this workshop in particular, you clicked a button that said register now. Well, that register now button segmented you into an email database that I have in Constant Contact for SCORE called webinar registrants. So by virtue of clicking the register now button, you self-segmented and you put yourself into my marketing funnel as a subscriber under webinars. So you might not get my weekly newsletter or monthly newsletter, but you probably will get webinar because I targeted you there because you have an interest in webinars. And it's what people have an interest in that they're going to click, and they're going to be very clear about it. How to use existing data and tools to send relevant email. You probably have more emails than you think, and you may actually have emails that you have access to that you haven't thought about, and we'll talk a little bit about that, but there's that word relevant again. I want the right message to go to the right person at the right time. I say that again, I want the right message going to the right person at the right time. Otherwise, I'm wasting everybody's time, okay? We don't want to do that. Oh yeah, they make me put in a slide. This is me. I am a Constant Contact certified partner, which is why I get a good deal on free trial offers and tech support and so forth. I have a Master of Arts in Communication from Western Michigan University, and I started my consulting business, Hannah Gold Communications, in 1991 as a writer. And I'm not sure why Constant Contact gives me this spot to talk about myself, but I'm also a SCORE certified mentor, and you can find me online or email me if you have any questions when we're done here. So let's look at the first item on our agenda, basic strategies to segment your list. I'm going to show you a live demo in a bit, but this is what we're going to look at, and this is what it's going to look like. So what you see right here is a segmentation. If you look at the email lists, and this is under contacts, we'll take you there live in a minute, and you look under your list and you show email list, this is broken out into 4 different categories. So this person had 54 people who have an interest in events. They had 58 people who have a general interest. That's the one Constant Contact sets up for you, and in my opinion, it's kind of worthless. General interest is, you know, like saying I'm marketing to everyone. You can do better than that. Prospects, always a great category to have. And then VIP customers. These are the people that have already purchased your product or service or donated to your organization. Call out to my nonprofits. I know Sausalito's on here again. Hi, Julie. call out to them, but your nonprofits as well. You've got VIP donors for sure. You're not going to send the same messaging to your VIP donors as you are to your prospects. It just makes sense. You cannot do a one size fits all. This is the basic reason and strategy behind segmenting your audiences. So you can send the right message to the right person at the right time, and it's got to be relevant to them. So how do we decide what's relevant? Well, most of the time we're forced to kind of group people into imperfect groups. So if we go back and we look at these groups here, I could segment my audience by events, general interest, prospects, and VIP, but that wouldn't be enough for me. You know, when I show you my list, you'll see why. I have them segmented by zip code. I have them segmented by the workshop that they signed up for. I'll show you some of those differences. So I didn't want you to think that 4 was a limit. You can have as many as you want. Here's how you think about putting those people into segments. The first thing you can think about is when you send them an email, what do they do? All right, so do they actually click on your email? Do they open it first of all? So this is one of the actions that I get questions about all the time, are clicks and open rates. And I think the constant contact commercials on television have caused this interest in clicks. It really is fun and exciting to see those clicks and open rates. But the reason we're looking at these behaviors is so we can look after those people again. So who opened my email? What did they do in my email? Did they click to go to my website? Did they click to visit my 14-day marketing challenge? Did they sign up for my webinar? Did they click to donate to my charity? What did they do? And then also look at what they didn't do, which was like you. They unengaged. They may have not ever opened an email from you. This is a big one, and it does hurt a little, stings a little bit, I'll be honest. When I took over doing marketing for Southwest Michigan SCORE 3 or 4 years ago, their email address was ginormous and their open rate was low. And so, you know, we looked at it, we sent different times, we A/B tested our messaging, couldn't figure it out. So I took a constant contact tool in here called reporting. I searched for any email address who had not opened a single email message from Southwest Michigan SCORE in the past 2 years. And there were a lot. There were a lot. And yes, I was crushed because my mailing list then went from 1,200 to 900. But because I was sending it to people who really were interested in what I was sending, my open rate went up. And so did my click rate, because it was relevant. So you can actually pull this data. If you've sent out 4 or 5 emails and you want to see, you know, who's just totally unengaged, and maybe you can go find out why, if it's someone, or maybe you have an incorrect email or something, but you have that ability to sort people. So I have a list that says last chance. Basically, if they haven't opened any of the last 6 emails, they go into this last chance folder. I keep sending to them, but I'm going to start weaning them out if they don't. Another way that you can track behaviors and actions, remember we're segmenting, we're putting people into file folders so that we can get to them later as a group. So what was purchased? If I have there's some examples later on in here, I'll show you. I have a barbecue restaurant and someone bought my 3-pack of barbecue sauce. Then, you know, that shows me that person likes to buy things like barbecue sauce online. So maybe I will send them another email offering them my cookbook. How much did they spend? You can segment people by that. You know, if you're a real estate agent and you've got high-end home buyers and lower-end home buyers, you're definitely going to want to consider what their spendability is. And then if they have buying and donating patterns, so you might, one of your criteria might be donated to a competing nonprofit organization. Or if it was a business, it might be a brewery. And this is people that have clicked on a link. You'd probably have to do some research to this to see what they've done online, where they've been. But you're thinking about little file folders to put them in. Here's another thing is demographics. And when we talk about demographics, we talk about things like age, gender, income, occupation. All of those fall under demographics. You can segment them out even deeper than this if you have an audience. Like I know what SCORE's audience is comprised of, about 20% 18 to 30-year-olds, about 40% in the next group, 30 to 45s, and then the 50s and up is another 35%, it's the most. So when I have messaging that goes out that concerns the younger SCORE audience, it would be really helpful to know their age. Now, I have to track that in my database of emails, and so we use collection forms to get that data from people, and we get more than just first name, last name, email, and phone number. But we're thinking about them because we should know the people on our list, or at least have some feeling for who they are, by gender, by age. If it's business to business, you know, you're looking at a whole different, well, not a whole different ball game, but definitely you might be sorting by yearly revenue or the size of the company. For example, even gender, if you were selling sporting equipment and apparel, you'd have men's and women's. If you're a realtor, income, we know is going to be a factor. Age might be a factor for realtors. Think about it, the starter home versus the big family home versus the retirement home. So also by education, and education and education and income often go hand in hand. Same with marital status. Maybe not, maybe it doesn't, you know, interfere with you. And all you're doing by segmenting more and more and more is excluding people. So we want to keep them on the list, and then we want to add them to other lists if we can, based on these other categories. Here's another category called psychographics. And this is where we get the chance to actually think about what our target audience members do. So what are they interested in? Where do they shop? Especially if you have a really niche market, if your product or service is really niche, and quality and brand are more important than price to people, the implied value, the big screen TV, for example, might appeal to a certain socioeconomic status. But you're thinking about their interests, their hobbies, their social status, you know, and this sounds really cold and calculated, and it's data and analytics, it's science. So we're not prejudging or anything. We're trying to segment people into manageable groups, manageable file folders. Also their attitudes, beliefs, and values. So for example, if I'm a shoe store and I've got everything, you know, across the board, I could segment people based on social status. So one price leader offer might go out to one social status, while another higher end product, or maybe a batch of products together, the cookbook and the sauce, or the purse and the shoes, based on social status or even their interests that help you find them, and their values. Is it a good deal? Is it something that they can get behind? Geographically, right now, this has been really important for us in states where we've experienced stay-at-home orders. They call them lockdowns. I don't think it's quite the same thing. And so for a while there, your only geographic target audience was within 10 miles of your home, you know, and that's if you were open. So at that point, you know, or if you are bound by geography, it becomes really important to think about, where am I reaching people? So you'll see in my emails that I have contacts in Louisiana, contacts in Florida, contacts in Georgia. I picked places that I thought I might want to live someday and started cultivating an audience in those areas so that I would have built-in customers, perhaps, if I ever go. But I'll show you those a little bit later. So we can segment these people right down to a message that goes to one person who's visited a location to ask them to come back even. And based on geography, you can use zip codes, communities. But Cheri, what if I need more than one of these? I need geography and demographics. And that's okay. Here we go. You can combine them. So if you want to send, again, the information that's most what? Relevant to your audience, and you need to think about what's the best combination of these strategies. It's not so much, it's how you want to talk to those people. It's not so much, it's driven by their interests, and I'll show you how in a minute, but it's more of how can you, in your marketing strategy, manage these different groups of people, and by what categories do you want to sort them. So for example, a real estate agent would use demographics because they're frequently bound to a geographical area, or demographics would be age and income. The geographic is there, and behavioral information. Perhaps behavioral information is people who play golf, people who shop online, people who dine in fine dining places, and you learn these things about your lists for your own clients. You might have, based on different income level, you might have school district as a deciding factor, which would probably be zip code. If you're a business with multiple locations, you would segment off behaviors and geography. So you would want the behaviors of that particular audience. So it might be Brew Pub Michigan versus Brew Pub Indiana. So behaviors, and then you get Brew Pub in there too, because that's a paid special group, a VIP group, if you will. Maybe you have people click on your weekly special or your catering services. Those people can be sorted based on what they do, and you've got to have some idea here then on how you're going to start segmenting your list. All right. How to get your subscribers. John, were we going to stop here and run through a question, or should I keep going?
Well, we don't have any questions submitted as of yet. I did post a couple links out there. One is for our free Constant Contact for 60 days link. And then the other one, I did share out the statistics that you were going through on your second slide. Okay. But I will remind everybody, if you do have questions, please send them in through the Q&A button and or the chat line, and I'll be fielding those as we go. And Cheri, if there's any questions that you think you can insert now from the list, you might as well go ahead and do that, or you can continue on.
I have a couple actually here that I'm going to talk about later, but a lot of people are concerned about how to actually capture your emails, how to get them. And in order to not be a spammer, you really have to sort of kind of know these people before you send them something. So a couple of really good ways is to put a pop-up join our mailing list button. I'll show you how you can generate that from Constant Contact if you're using our tools. You can put that join our mailing list on your website, on your Facebook page. So that's one way to get it. You can come up with a text to join mailing list. So maybe you're at a point of purchase and you say, hey, if you text to join our mailing list, I'll give you 5% off right now. That's a good way. Getting that text to join on signs, getting it in your emails that are already going out in hopes that people might share those buttons. Collecting business cards when you actually see the person face to face and say, is it okay if I add you to my mailing list? Downloading your Google Gmail contacts, all of your Google Gmail contacts, and then deleting, of course, the ones that will have no idea who you are, but that could generate quite a few. And then actually exporting your existing list from your Constant Contact, MailChimp, Salesforce, other CRMs, and then reformatting it, segmenting it, and re-uploading it into Constant Contact is possible as well. And so that answers the question from Julie and Sausalito, is there an easier way to segment other than going into each email? Yes, there is. You download them to a database, you segment them, and then you upload each segment. So it's a little bit time consuming, but I think it's easier than doing it within and opening each email and adding tags. There may be a drop down to do that eventually, but that's the two questions I got right now. So we're actually going to talk next about a little bit more about how to get subscribers into your funnel. This is part of your funnel approach. Funnel being you want them to spiral down into making a sale, to buying something. But we know time is money. Why did we not have a picture here? I don't know what that was for. Time is money and you're busy. And it's really, I worked with a lot of small businesses between these webinars and SCORE and my own business. And I talked to a lot of people and everyone is in the same boat. Trust me, you are no further behind than anyone else. But chances are good that you did not get into business to do marketing. You probably were hired into a position and maybe handed marketing on top of what you were already doing. That's a constant reminder. You may be an entrepreneur that has a great business sense, but never went through marketing courses and don't know the strategy behind it. But time is money, and the goal here is return on your investment. So we need to get these people on our list so that they can hear from us regularly. So we're going to start at the top, and I'm going to show you what happens with Constant Contact when someone goes to join your list. All right, so think about right now, do you have a sign-up form on your website? You can raise your hand because I can't see you, but I appreciate it. Do you have a sign-up form? Does they join our newsletter, join our mailing list? Not your contact us form necessarily, although that can work as well. You can bring those people in. But is there a sign-up? All right. So it can be a good opportunity to get information from your followers. And you see this one right here actually has an offer to it, okay? So they want to send this to people who visit their website. So this is their website, and this is called a pop-up. And to do this, all you have to do is put your email in there, and then they're actually segmenting even further. So they've got this button, sign up. They've got this segmented to a group, 10% off your first purchase. But they're also, for remarketing, they're asking me, what do I want to hear more of? And they're allowing me to checkbox these. Now, I will take a fork in the road here and say that email in and of itself is the most valuable part of it. But don't forget, if we're not getting a first or a first name in particular, you cannot personalize email. So while I don't want to see you collect 57 different things here, I really am starting, and plus we're getting into more text and direct messaging marketing. So I really want to see you collect first name, last name, email, and phone number. That's my personal preference. Now, there are people who do more, and the theory here is that you get them quick, and then you're emailing back. But you might not even know their name. You know, it might be radicaldriver@aol.com. You have no idea how to address that person or based on that what their interests are, only that they clicked sign up, and this is where they want to go. So it's short, 3 to 4 lines. You don't want this sign up to be overwhelming, but I really feel like you could get more than this. Okay, so here's some ways that if you have existing subscribers or people that you've sent emails to, this is a way to get that additional information. When we started doing this whole email marketing thing, we were happy to have any data, whether it was just names in one email or 14 names and 27 emails with no names attached to them. We were just happy to have it. Well, when is the last time you got an email from one of these subscribed magazines or businesses or services that you subscribe to that said, hey, will you update your profile? So this is a request. This is my Jack's Barbecue restaurant asking me to update my information. All right, as a reminder, it will only take a minute, and then this must be the clickable link because they would then click. Oh no, then it takes them to this, and we add our update. Oh yes, we have to have that for sure. We had our I want to subscribe, I want to unsubscribe, and then the update profile. This is required on your update form in any kind of emails, and there's nothing you can really do about it, but I wanted to show you this footer because that's where your person or persons will be able to click to update profile. So they get this, says click below, update profile, and then this pops up. And they get to give you then their birthday, which is a very valuable piece of information because you can automate happy birthday, here's your free ice cream cones, or happy birthday, thank you for your donation, we bought a turtle in your honor. So it's automatically, this is, let me remind you, this is automatically updated, and they will be on any of these lists that they select based on this one action, asking them to update your information. So this is what you're doing with your existing email people that you've already sent an email to, or once you send 2 or 3, you want to get them to give you more information, especially if all we got the first time around was email address. All right, so let them know that you are updating their information. So another reason that this is helpful is they can change the list that they're subscribed to. They can change how often they want to hear from you. You could say something like, we'd like to ensure you're receiving the most relevant information that pertains to you. Please click update profile at the bottom of this email to update your preferences. All right, and then you can move on. So learn from subscribers with click segmentation. This is join the cycling club. So find out more leads to a segmented email list. Remember we looked at our email list called cycling club, and those are people who are interested in the cycling club. So over the next few, however many days, weeks, months, hours, they're going to get information about our cycling club because they showed an interest. So it is relevant, absolutely relevant. Here's how we're going to do this. So we have that find out more button down here, and buttons are so much fun. And we want it to say find out more. This is the link to my website, to the cycling club page. And here I said enable click segmentation. This is where the action is, people. This is where all the lights and bells happen. Then you have a list down here, a drop down of all those audiences. Remember, I have Louisiana zip code, Georgia zip codes, Florida zip codes, webinar zip codes, live workshop zip codes. I can create any list I want, but I want these to go to cycling club prospects because that's what this email is about, is join the cycling club. Make sense? So once they click, then they go to this and they get the join now button. And once they join, let's see, no name, that bothers me. You know, no city, state, I would want more, but that's okay. You know, you get them in the funnel, that's what counts. And then they are added automatically to your list. So this is something that I really like in terms of a CRM, a customer relationship management tool, because it really does make a nice place for you to keep all of this data and sort it into segments, prospects, customers, current customers, support systems, vendors, friends and family. Yeah, put your friends and family on your list. Absolutely. So they've gone to the website here, they click the join now button, and look, automatically added to our list because we generated this from constant contact to constant contact. Here's another one. How many of you have ever sent out, again, raise your hands. How many of you have ever sent out a newsletter with more than one topic in it, right? So I do Scores newsletters, and recently the topics have been resources, and it's been PPP, and it's been idle loan, and it's been CDC return to work guides, and it's been state of Michigan health and human services, and Kalamazoo County health. So I might have 4 or 5 of these stories and resources for people within one newsletter. But when they click here, they actually go to the individual topic, and that topic becomes a mailing list. So people who click on the story about PPP, or in this case, yoga, go to a PPP database. or yoga database. People who click on EIDL loans, the SBA loans here, go to a mailing list called SBA loans. That's so I can follow up with them when the SBA changes something and send SCORE some new information. And we get that like daily, daily, weekly. But I know the people who are really interested in that topic and who that is relevant to. And so remember, if you're doing a longer newsletter and you've got more places, let's track each one of those clicks with a read more that goes to the website. Doesn't matter, what your call to action is. So this way you're going to be able to send focused follow-up emails. And for those that read this second article, for example, here, you could then send them to a blog on the benefits of using social media, or even to your contact us page for sure. So click segmentation can have multiple buttons. Going to show you how to do that. I'm not sure how I'm going to get through all of this, seriously. Self-segmenting options. Yep, we just talked about this. We're going to add lists to the sign-up form. So remember, you can choose if you want to hear about daily specials, if you want to only get annual updates. If you're a nonprofit, you only want to hear from us once a time. Remember, we can ask our contacts to update their profile to get more data on them so that we can, again, segment them into useful audiences based on their habits. There might be $1,000 donors, $5,000 donors, $25,000 donors. Those could all easily be segments for your email. And then use click segmentation to put them into those folders, into those segmented lists based on what they do. They clicked on the SBA, they clicked on the yoga class. That means they're interested in being in the yoga class. The more lists you can get people on and the more data you can collect about them, the more your marketing strategy is going to fire. It's really going to help. All right, I just want to give you a few other tips here. Remember I said first, last, email, phone. When you type your list, it's important to type those into separate categories. Beyond that, when you click to upload an email database, and they prefer a CSV file, comma separated values files, .csv. When you go to upload it, Constant Contact's going to look at it and say, oh, that field's important. Oh, that field's important. And you'll be able to choose what this actually is. It's pretty intuitive. It will recognize city, state, but maybe you have some other notes over here and you'll be able to change this category to notes. And this gives you just as much information as you could possibly have on your clients. So now is live demo time. And yes, don't go away. I'm going to take you into Constant Contact. So by the way, John dropped that link in there. That is just a really, really cool deal for people who use that link. As a partner, I get notifications of special deals and everything. But the thing I really like about Constant Contact, and I get this question every webinar, over MailChimp, is I like their customer service. So this 60-day free trial, no credit card required, also gets you a personal marketing assistant from Constant Contact who will help you do anything I have shown you here or in the other 12 webinars that we have done on Constant Contact. Just really, really cool. And after that, if you go, it's not really me, I'm not using it, that's great. No auto billing, nothing like that. So, but basically what we want to talk about today is how to segment our emails. And to do that, we're going to go into contacts. And I made a couple little fake lists just so I could show you how to upload them. But I want to show you, I mentioned, remember I said I have tons and tons of email lists. I have 28. So I'm going to tell you whether this was an action or a link or a resource. So this was a link to the website to do the 14-day marketing challenge. 24 people did that. I went back, I remarketed to them with part 2 of the 24-day or 14-day marketing challenge. 5-step marketing strategy is an ebook. I had a download in there. I know not overwhelming numbers, but I don't care. I also had a link to the CDC guide for reopening. I downloaded and brought or uploaded all of my CheriBales.com emails. Those 150 people know me. I mean, they have my email. My constant contact are friends that I've made through these webinars that are now letting me help them with constant contact. Here's Florida Zips, Georgia Zips. There's the last webinar. There were 9 people that clicked in from somewhere. I just track every click. July 2020 blog clicks when I published my own newsletter, my own blog. I make that link out to my website, to my blog, and I watch for, you know, who has published, who has clicked those, and I am letting them self-segment. So that self-segment thing is important. Here's how that works. You're going to have a campaign, and I created a cute little campaign here, and I'm going to use my own emails, so we'll see how that works. We can connect it to a couple things. But basically, you've gone in to create a new campaign. So I missed a button. Let me go back and show you. Up here's the big create button, because I already had this one. But you would click create, and then, oh my goodness, look at all the things we can do in constant contact. But you're going to go with an email. They consider campaigns and emails, it's all under there. So, but you would click create to make your new email. I have already made one, which I did at 1:45, just so I'd have something to show you. First thing to do is change the title. Okay, so this is Cheri's test email automation. And I'm going to click save. And then down here, and if you did my email quick start, you'll remember how important it is to remember to change these headers and subheaders, because I've had to go out with the wrong webinar name here. It was all good here, but it doesn't really show you that you need to click here to make changes. You kind of have to just click around. So here, this is what it will look like in my email box when I receive this from you. So this is a request for reviews or something like that. Are you satisfied? Questions are really good at getting people to open emails as well. All right, so here we are inside the basic email template. First thing we want to add, and over here you can see image, very straightforward, drag and drop, and you can do it to the side like that. Or you can do it to the center like that. And the way we do it, remember to click on things in here, because otherwise they're just hidden. So remember to click, and then you'll see this replace. And you can pop out here and you can grab your logo and you can put it in here. And again, hover over it or you'll never notice. You can change the size. All right? And then clicking done saves that. So this is our test for automation. I'm going to show you how to put these guys into a folder. So we have these text areas, again, drag and drop, not horribly tough to figure out. I would avoid gray on black at all costs. Black text is always your best choice. I don't care what anyone says. This gray is too light for ADA qualifications. So your feedback is essential. So we're asking you to provide us with some feedback. The way we're doing that, let me even just delete that, is we're inserting a button. A button creates an action. So I'm going to take this button, and I can put it anywhere I want. And I'm going to put it right there. And I'm going to click on that button. Excuse me. And go to link. This button, I can make it dance. I can make it jump through hoops. I can make it go to my webpage with CheriBales.com. I can make it go to my email. If I type in Cheri at CheriBales.com, there's my URL, so CheriBales.com. And then here is where we turn on the click segmentation. And that took me, I'm going to make a new list. Test list, create, save people who click there to test list, and I now have a segmented audience. All right, let's do it again. So we're going to edit. We're going to change the name this time. We're going to change the name to Order Online. And SheriBales.com/order. And I don't have an order page. But again, enable, click, segmentation. This is how I built a bunch of those connections without having to go do it myself. Someone asked me, how do you automate this stuff? This is it. You ask people to click buttons, and then you put them in the buttons, make them go into the right folder. So here, like I said, I could go, holy moly, score webinars, Texas, how to write a marketing plan, way more than I probably need. But remember, this was our test list, so I'm not going to make a new list. I'm going to put them in here. So now, when they click Order Online, I know that they are going to be segmented into, what did I call that? I get carried away and forget what I called it. Order Online, SheriBalesOrder.com. So when they click on here, they're going to go back here. I know, sorry. Save, always save. This is your save button. They have a pretty good, robust undo too, so you can get out of there. Click save, and you can add pictures, GIFs, anything. But what I want to show you is that email segment person should be, there we go. Should be in here, test list. So if I were to send that out to you and you were to click on that in my email, which remember doesn't say test list, it says order online, I would know that you had ordered, and I would then be able to segment you by order because you had ordered something. All right, so let's take a look then at that update profile button. Remember, another way that we can do this. Right down here at the bottom. So we would change this to update your profile with us. And then we miss you, come back, and whatever. And here, we're going to change this to edit, update your profile. Again, we're not going to know for sure, but I might create a new list just that's called updated profiles so that I know the people that have clicked there go on this list now, and I got a whole new segment that I can work with. So when they click here, or you can tell them go to the bottom and click update profile. And here, there is a way, I'll show you a form that you can use to add even more of these categories. So that we can insert that and click that, and I have been updated in my profile. So now they have me, this other company has me on their email list for updating my profile. Then we had to visit our website down here. I don't think they let you track the Facebook, Twitter clicks, but you can actually look at clicks. So perhaps they do. The other thing I want to show you is how to get these people to sign up, because that's a question that we have a lot of beyond clicks and open rates. It's how to get people to sign up. One of the things Constant Contact has that I really like are these sign up forms. You know, and I think I'm going to go to my website just so you can see a pop-up sign up form as I'm doing this, because I do use Constant Contact for myself. So eventually you'll get pop-up here. I don't do it immediately. I like it to give you a couple of minutes. There it is. So this is my pop-up that I made just for today to show you what happens. So this is all the stuff that I can edit. Remember, I can assign people to different lists. So now if someone comes to my website, they get 25 or 20% off. I get their email, their first, their last. The phone is not required, but I'm asking because maybe. And then you choose which email you want to be on, and then you submit, get your offer. I don't fill it out. So that's what's known as a sign-up form or a pop-up form. And in here, under sign-up forms, is where you create them. Now I have a couple that are active right now, so I'm going to create a new one. And you can do this either as the pop-up form or the inline form. It depends on your website, but I'm going to show you real quickly, and then I think John has a link to show you how to install that little snippet of code on your website. So let's say we want to create a pop-up form, and you see there's all these different, you can now generate a Facebook lead ad on through Constant Contact, which is very cool. And you could have a landing page. Let's say you have a white paper that you want people to download, or you have a donor brochure, or you have something like that. You can create a landing page for that document and store that document in Constant Contact so that people could download it. But we're going to talk about growing that email list. So here's the basic form. Sign up for updates, get news, give me your email. You can't do anything with this, but it's the basic disclaimer, and then they click sign up. If you have Email Plus, you can go into settings, and I think the basic plan has for sure the content. So what you're allowed to do is change the contact. You have 50 characters. Let's do a question mark. Okay, I can change the text color. All right, I'm going to go back. So this is all my form looks like right now. I'm going to go back here, and I'm going to go, well, you know, should maybe I change this? Why don't you want news from Hannah Gold in your inbox? Now, I wouldn't say that, but for this display, we can do that. And then the contact fields. Remember, first, please, last, please, phone number if you want, and then toggle on the required. Remember I said I left phone number as not required, but I definitely want their email. I definitely want their first name so I can mark it to them by name. Dear Cheri, here's the email you signed up for. Is a lot better than here's the email you signed up for. And phone, you know, and if you can get it from people, then add some of these. I love to have job title and company. I just really love that. I love birthday. I'm not so big on anniversary, but when we worked with the golf course, you would always get a happy birthday. So these are all the contact fields that you can change, not too hard. And then this is who you're going to send it to. So I'm going to, who am I going to send it to? Website clicks. All right, so this is who's going to get that on my email list. My button is this pretty one down here. I'm going to brand that because my colors are kind of this gold color. And the text is white. I could change that. But here I'm like, please come back. And they're supposed to click there and then sign up for my newsletter. You can change the background, but if you do, don't do that to people. Don't do that to people. Don't do that to people. See, what you're doing is you're making it impossible for people to really get to you. Just leave it here with white, because research shows black type on white background is the most comprehensible, meaning easiest to understand for most people when they're reading. Again, Email Plus customers, ooh, look at this. You can show it when you want it. So you can set an actual, and that's what I have with mine. I think I have a 5-second or a 10-second before it pops up on your website. So that's kind of cool. Or if somebody goes to leave and I'm like, hey, wait, don't go, I can say on exit intent. And I did ask a couple people on this based on how often you want that pop up. If people are going to your site pretty regularly, if they're ordering online or you're providing content for them, you probably don't need it to pop up every 30 minutes or every hour. You could probably go once a day and be perfectly okay for people who are coming back to your website. So those are content, all the things in here, and settings when you want it to go up and whether or not you want to. This is really helpful at the Email Plus level. I can make Constant Contact branding go away. which is okay. I mean, Constant Contact has a good enough reputation that it doesn't hurt to have it down there. I don't think. So then I can either save it or I can publish it, and you can see here that it's inactive. And look what I didn't do. I didn't change the name. Please come back to us. Don't go all hyperbole with multiple exclamation points either. And when I hit publish, it says success, your form is active. And I will see, please come back to us. Active, 0 signups. If I need to edit, I'm going to click the little hamburger, or I can deactivate it, which I probably have a few of these running that I don't need running. And then if I wanted to do, so here's another example of one that I did earlier today. Get 20% off, save on purchase. Remember this one, it just popped up on my website. So there's one. And then you have to install a piece of code on your website for this to work. And unfortunately, I'm not a web developer, but if you have one, you definitely can ask them and they will know exactly what this means. So once you've created your form, you can go here. Okay, make sure that it's published and then click Universal Code. Okay, so this goes before the, I don't know, web design tag HTML tag / body tag on your site in order to show all your active forms, whether it's sign up now, whether it's get a free download, whatever it is. There is a guide here, and my friend John has a link to a video that shows you how to do it with Wix. If you just search install Universal Code WordPress, you can do it. I know you can. So you've got that copied and you just are going to send that off to your web designer. There's some other things you can do down here. Remember I mentioned lead ads, basic landing pages. There's some things you can buy in to get more signups. And then here's your join my list for Facebook. So you generate another little thing. And then there's a place that you can tie that into Facebook. That is segmenting in a nutshell. I got a few more things I want to cover before we get to our rest of our questions. But keep in mind, the reason that we're segmenting is because of something relevant. So, you know, Michigan CDC, Michigan Health and Human Services, Michigan.gov, no one in Florida is going to care about that resource. So if I'm going to do a resource for COVID, you know, my favorite COVID resources links, I'm going to make sure that I'm sending to the state that they're valid in, not the other state. If I want to resend to people, I love doing this process called the 5-step marketing strategy. And this one is how to write a marketing plan, which mentions the 5-step marketing strategy. So I want to train people in the 5-step marketing strategy. I'm going to find out who clicked on how to write a marketing plan, because that means they probably don't know how. And then I can remarket to them with my next topic. Does that all make sense? Let's see, did we cover it all? Receive all, email exclusive offers, get the offer, demo segments too. Yeah, we're really close. Let me go back in here and let's give you a couple of other segments to consider. So we have prospects, we've got, you know, A-list prospects, B-list prospects, you know, non-users, we've got vendors, partners, community partners, people who signed up for my newsletter, people who signed up for visit my website, people who clicked on a resource that I published. We've got all those, you know, and here's another one. People who've made a recent purchase, you can click on a recent purchase and send them a request to leave you a review. So if someone has an interaction with your page or makes a purchase, they go into that click funnel that says, you know, ordered online. Then you have the option to then send them, and you can automate this based on them clicking, but you can send them this and ask them for more information or even to leave you a review. And then if they clicked on that to go to your review page on Google or wherever, then you would know that they had clicked on leave a review, and you could send them something really special because they're now loyal advocates of your business and they are at the very bottom, good place on your funnel. And you want to stay in touch with these people more than you really know. More than you know. You want to stay in touch with people who made a recent purchase. They're more likely to make another one. Remember the unengaged? Haven't opened an email from us in 10 weeks and we've been sending them every week. What's wrong? Let's find out. So here we can segment people over a period of time. And if it's not working, maybe it's not what? Relevant. Maybe it's just not relevant, you know, and this has been the situation throughout the COVID pandemic thus far, is we are having, as marketers, we're having a really tough time making our stuff appear relevant when there's so many more important things going on out there. And I actually did a workshop a little while back on social media and what you can say during this, but, you know, identify the people who aren't engaged. Maybe there's a way to get them more engaged by sending them something that they would like more. And then for those that are the most engaged, you know, we're asking for a sale right here. Basically, you know, if these people have opened a bunch of emails and they've clicked over to look at my gallery, I'm a photographer, they've clicked over to look at my gallery, I have a button that says gallery visits to the website. You know, I know they're interested. They're mid-funnel at this point. They're gathering ammunition. And if I can get my name and brand in front of them right now, I have a chance to get them as a customer. Now, I might want to offer them something. My most engaged clients, for example, with SCORE, we did a SCORE members only roundtable discussion. And so you had to be a SCORE member or a client or a volunteer to be a part of that. So that was a little bit of implied value, I guess. But keep in mind that you might change targeting and segmentation. Like if this family bought a new house, they would then change from one segmented audience to another segmented audience. And if, you know, it went from winter to spring, then you might have a spring audience as well. Some other relevant ways to segment them, all right? Remember again, relevant. This is going to increase the chances of me paying attention to your email, which improves your marketing results. All right, and it's all about return on investment, and there's data that shows 400% return on the investment you make in email marketing. And I showed you some things at the beginning, you know, 66% more people close and convert. But think about those segments that you're making and think about how relevant they can and cannot be. Oh, I forgot something. Sorry, this is really important. I want to show you this. And I forgot. So someone asked me on here, okay, is there an easier way to segment other than going into each email? Can you segment a group all at once? Yes, you can. And here's how. So I'm in contacts, I'm in my list management, and I have all my lists here, but I need to add contacts. So you see all the different ways that I can get them in here. I'm gonna go, oh man, I'm gonna go to my desktop on my computer because I can upload XLS, CSV, TXT. I prefer the CSV myself. Now let's see if I'm organized enough to find it. How to segment your list, contact upload 1. Okay, here it comes. This is what it will look like if you do it right. So these are all me, but I got first name, last name, email, zip. And remember I said you could skip a column if it doesn't apply. In this case, I really want to add their phone, and I normally just go with work because that's what people use. But see, I'm scrolling over here because there are unmatched columns. If there's anything pink, you can't leave it like that. You either have to say, no, just ignore that because we don't really care. Or you go down here and you create a new custom field called comments, or in this case, company. Yeah, questions do you have? And then here, we just want to assign them to responsible party, let's say. And then as we hit continue, okay, so remember I said download your list, segment it using Microsoft Excel, assign everybody to these different categories. You can even put them on different pages. I wouldn't do multiple sheets on one page because you really have to have different files for each audience. But I made this audience 1. I'm going to continue. And here is where I segment them. So this was upload audience 1. And in they come. All right. And this is important. I have permission to send these people email. Remember that implied consent thing. If they're on your email list, if they're currently in your Gmail or your webmail or your Outlook, every email there is, or you have some other affiliation with them, perhaps a professional B&I group or something, or a group that you belong to, you have some way of knowing them. Otherwise, you're going to get yelled at as a spammer. But so I'm going to upload this to audience 1. And now when I go back over here and I look at my email lists, and I wish you could sort these, but I haven't ever taken the effort to do that. And I look at audience 1. All these people can now get information from me about that particular topic. Okay, I'm going to do it one more time. So we're going to the upload, uploading a file. I'm going to go find our email database that we created. See, and that's going to yell at you if you don't do it right. So I know we have first name, easy to change. Email, easy to change. I took out last names to protect the innocent. Phone, well, it was zip code. And that's all the data I got on those people. But I'm still going to bring them in, and I'm going to create a new list called Upload Audience 2. Create, and I'm assuming permission because they came from my personal connections. I didn't buy a list. I didn't scalp them off of LinkedIn. If you're first connections, that's fair game. Go ahead and copy their email address and put it in your database. But if they're third connections and you just think they're hot prospects, then don't do that. I have permission. It uploads me. Oh, it'll even tell you when there's a file. And I did this so that you would see that. There were 2 contacts added. 46 contacts were updated. So I had 46 of those people already in there, but I didn't have some piece of information. And 1 includes errors. Now this one you want to pay attention to. 2 contacts could not be added because they previously unsubscribed. Take them out. Just take them out. You can download them here. You can check and make sure that they didn't, unsubscribe by accident. But otherwise, when you get a notice like that, this one you can just delete because there's really no name here anyway. But when you get a notice like this, you definitely need to go to your contacts and you need to go to your unsubscribed button. I don't know who you guys were. I can export them if I want to save them, but I'm more likely to just hit delete so that that doesn't happen accidentally. It will take them from my account and it will take them off all of my lists. There, that's what I wanted to show you in the contact management. Now I'm gonna go back to this really quickly. Thinking about the segments, what's relevant. It's not just promotional information, but you can, I use these newsletters frequently to link people back to a longer blog story. So when I publish the July blog this week maybe, y'all will get a link to that. And if you click on it, if you're in my email list and you click on that link, I'll know that you click to read whatever July's blog topic is. So if you have a bunch of people interested in contact or product A, then you send those people great funnel messages. Hey, we saw you looked at product A. Here's a 10% off coupon. Hey, did you mean to buy product A? Because here's this thing that you left us in your checkout box, checkout cart. So then you have the opportunity to follow through with people. Same thing then if they like product B. So you can utilize those emails and you can schedule it for any content that doesn't expire. Okay, don't automate a bunch of messages with an expiration date on them. Make sure that you know when they're going to expire. Cheri, what's a good open rate? Well, that's a very good question. You can actually check on your open rate when you're in constant contact, and it will show you for each email what your open rate is. And then if you have registered your business and told them what industry you are in, it will show you an industry comparison. The reason for this little video or this little image here is to show a general email. So this went to general interest. It went to everybody in one long big fat email list, okay? Nobody did much of anything here. A targeted email, meaning it was relevant, it was at the right audience, it was sent at the right time to the right people. Not quite double, but definitely worth looking at if you want to increase your open rate. And do you remember how I told you to also do that? Remember to get rid of those people who have not taken any action. You're just bringing your open rate down. And I think open rates are fun. So how else are we measuring our success? With our click rate. So you'll get two statistics from constant contact: open rate, how many people actually open and look at your email, and click rate, how many people actually clicked on any one link in your email. And you'll get a report of every link that they clicked. So from 6.3 to 12.0, not just targeted with the information, but remember also targeted with the first name if you can, and that's why you want to get that. So you can obviously see that the targeted emails are going to do more, even though they're smaller lists. You know, I might only have 16 people on a targeted email list, but that's my targeted list. Those are my prospects. If you ever sold cars, I did. That's your prospects list. And you go after them, and you go back and you go back and you go back and you back. Not enough to make them sick of you. I wouldn't email every day, but maybe once a week, depending on what your product or service is. You know, easily once a month, just to remind people, you know, hey, we're in a pandemic, we're still open, we're here, here's our services, here's our carry out policy, here's our in dining in policy. You know, I'm sending out weekly chef specials for one of my restaurant folks, and we're going to do, they just launched a new beverage line. And so we're going to do an email blast this week for just Wednesday for just this new cocktail from just 4 to 9 p.m. And that's going to give us a lot of really good data. Oh, and we're going to send it just to members of the mug clubs or the beer clubs at these places. So this is data from constant contact customer accounts. We as partners, we report open rates, and every so often you'll get an email saying, hey, how's it going? Give us a little feedback here to let us know how we're doing. And this is from data from that 2019 constant contact data. So what do you need to remember? I'm wrapping it up. I think I have like 2 minutes left before we're done. I think I've answered almost every question now. Remember that you've got to know what you're going to need to send. Are you selling stuff? Are you asking for donations? Do you want reviews? Are you driving people to social media? Are you sending people to your website? Are you sending them to a blog story? What is the relevance to them? Why do I care? All right, use those self-segment options. Once you get some emails going and you start pulling in new email people on your list, put them into segments. Let them click and choose where they want to go and what they're interested in, because it becomes more relevant. Finally, use contact details, behavior history to create new segments over time. Those people who clicked on my webinar are now in my webinars target segment email folder. Those people who did the marketing, 14-day marketing strategy, are now in a funnel to hear from me about writing a marketing plan. So it's going to save you a little bit of time. But honestly, if I don't get anything else across today, and I will take like 1 or 2 questions, just make sure that you check out this list segmentation tool. It will make your marketing efforts so much more targeted, so much more streamlined, so much easier for you to be able to put the right message in front of the right person at the right time, and it won't require a ton of extra work for you. Download your list of 800 or 300 or 250 people, sort them, get them into decent segments or more than one segment. You can belong to more than one segment, obviously, but do that with your list, and I think you're going to find that your marketing will just shoot up. Your response to that should be really helpful. Quick pitch, you can use in constant contact tools, email, websites. They added a bunch of these at the beginning of COVID. They didn't have websites in April or in February. Logos, you can create your own logo here now. You can post social posts remotely and delayed and scheduled, and run ads on Facebook and Google ads. I did Google ads last week. You can run your social media posts. And that's all I have from there. So let me jump through my questions. John, do you have any questions that just have come in?
No new questions, and I did post out all the different links that you indicated during the workshop, and I also included the link for the registration for next week's webinar for those people who are so inclined. It's our small business and nonprofit relaunch in pandemic times webinar. So you can look forward to that in the chat box. And I'm guessing, because you signed up for this, you'll probably receive another invitation, email invitation, because once you're in our webinar database, we do include you on future ones. Is that correct, Cheri?
That's exactly how we do it. You are the result of a constant contact email segmentation activity. So I do have a couple quick questions I think I can throw out there. How do you start email if you don't have any emails? You start downloading your email contacts from your emails, your Google, your Outlook, your webmail, whatever you have. You start collecting the business cards that are maybe in a folder on your desk from a year ago, but not the ones from 5 years ago. You start asking friends. You get sign-up forms on your website. You get sign-up forms on your social. You send people messages about those sign-up forms. All of those are good ways to gather emails. You don't go buy a list. You don't go to LinkedIn and scalp all the people at Third that happen to have their emails visible to you. You can get email information from Facebook for remarketing. So those are some ways that you can do that. Another question here from Sonia or Sonia. How long is the turnaround time? You could sell something with your first email. If I send out Jack's barbecue sauce cookbook combo, COVID combo, and I make it $10 off the regular price, and I give free shipping, I could sell a boatload of those with my very first email. But make sure your infrastructure is set up to handle that. So I had a client wanted to do an email blast for that beer club. Well, when you join the beer, we're going to do it for Father's Day. When you join the beer club, you get a mug and a hat and a t-shirt and the card and all these things. And I'm like, we're in the middle of a pandemic. Do you actually have all this stuff? And do you actually want these people coming into your place of business? And they're like, oh no, our vendor is closed down. So we pulled that out. But the turnaround time can be, like I said, I've got a Wednesday one scheduled to go out, and we want them to actually act on that immediately. And so it's going out Wednesday noonish after lunch, and hoping that people take advantage of that and visit. So turnaround, how to convert cold emails to engaged. If they are signing up on your list for something, ask them what they're signing up for. Remember, we showed you have a couple of different options. You can join my 14-day marketing challenge list. You can join my Google advertising list. You can join my why the heck do I need Facebook list, and then follow up with the proper information for each one of those topics that is relevant to them. That, my friends, is it. I'm sorry I went over by 4 minutes, but you will get a recording if you signed up for today's webinar. John and I both thank you for being here. Give me a day or so to get that recording processed. It sometimes takes a few hours, and we'll send that to you. And then probably as well will be an invitation to next Monday's event, which will be Monday the 27th at 4 o'clock. Stay tuned for an invitation to that. And let me know if you have any questions. My email is on there. John, anything else?
Nope, that pretty much covers everything. Thank you all for joining us today, and we hope to see you in our future webinars. Have a great day.
Bye-bye, everyone.